Okay, Dr. Sharma, please.
Okay, shall we start now?
Yes, we are live now.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Greetings, assalamu alaikum and namaskar. Today, we all gathered here for a very wonderful webinar that is titled as Bangladesh Tourism Rethink and Restart. I'm Dr. Anukriti Sharma. I'm the head of the Department of Commerce and Management, University of Kota, as well as Dean of two faculties, Hospitality and Aviation and Aerospace and Tourism. And it's a very fortunate and I'm honored. I rather have to say that I'm really honored to be a part of this webinar as a moderator. And today we have an immense gallery of eminent speakers, and it's an absolute honor to have Dr. Taleb Rafi with us, former Secretary General of UNWTO, and we do have lots of eminent and experienced persons who will be going to talk about Bangladesh tourism, about the policies, about the strategies, the challenges and opportunities which can be coming on the way of promoting and developing Bangladesh tourism as sustainable especially after COVID. And there is no doubt that Bangladesh is having so many resources. It is rich, it's beautiful, it's have lots of archaeological sites. And here we are today gathered for undiscovered a few places which we must want to discover of Bangladesh. With this note, I would like to welcome and introduce, first of all, the chairperson of today's webinar, Professor Mukleshwar Rehman. He is the rector of Bangladesh Institute of Tourism Studies. He comes from the background of natural sciences. He blends his 25 years of experience in tourism and wants to create a new theme, which is certainly appreciable. And that is the development, tourism, and dreams to transform the rural community to Bangladesh. Also, he wants to develop village as healthy, wealthy, and peaceful living place by applying tourism. He is the author of 11 tourism books, amongst 4 are textbooks. He participated in many national and international conferences and presented more than 50 papers on various innovative issues of tourism. Cooperative-based tourism is his motivation in Bangladesh. With this introduction, sir, I would like to welcome you for your speech today. Thank you so much. Over to you, Professor Mukleshwar Rehman.
Unmute yourself, sir.
Sir, you are not audible. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. Truly, this is an amazing moment for me and all the people. And this is really an excellent platform here. And now, this moment, 97 participants and audiences are here on this platform. This is really a great moment for us, actually, the Bangladesh tourism. I welcome everybody, all distinguished guests, scholars, and listeners from many parts of the world. I hope all the honorable discussants will point out the specific issues and give the ultimate solution of new path of Bangladesh tourism. I request to start the program formally. Dr. Anukriti Sharma, Associate Professor, University of Kota, Rajasthan, India, as moderator. And I request all the speakers to present their own speech, opinions, suggestions, etc. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rehman. So our first speaker is Mr. Mukleshwar Rehman, who is the CEO of Tourism Wallet Dhaka. He has masters with honors in statistics, and he is also completed Executive Master of Business Administration in 2016. Initially, he worked for National Tourism Organization from 1973 to 1978. Private tourism started in 1989 and was a founding member of the Guide Tours Limited, and worked as an incoming tour operator promoting Bangladesh to overseas markets. He has seen Bangladesh tourism to grow, and now there are a number of operators combining incoming and outbound as well. Presently, He is contributing to Bangladesh tourism, providing consultancy and organizing some specialized tours as per the request of the national and international tourists. I welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
I think you can hear me.
Oh, audible, sir. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm Mathur Rahman. Let me start. Respected dignitaries present in the webinar, Salam Alaikum and good evening from Bangladesh. I'm very much fortunate as Mr. Mukhlasur Rahman, Chairman of the webinar, Rector, Bangladesh Institute of Tourism Studies, President Bangladesh Tourism Foundation, for inviting me to speak in such a webinar with the presence of the high tourism dignitaries from around the world, including Bangladesh. To speak about the Bangladesh tourism, it's a long story of 50 years, but I will make it short. Bangladesh Parjatan Corporation, as a national tourism organization, was created by a presidential order in 1972 with the aim to promote, develop domestic tourism, international tourism, and enhance the image of Bangladesh abroad. After 50 years, if we look at the tourism scenario of Bangladesh, there is no significant achievement. Initially, there was no budget sanction for tourism, even not a single penny. So tourism was very much neglected right from the beginning. Even the people, officials, those who are in charge of the tourism, they also lacked the visionary ideas to contribute to the tourism. Moreover, they did not want to go out of the box ideas to contribute to the tourism sector also, because it was totally a government job. Bangladesh Tourism Board, created in 2010 to work with the responsibility to play the leading role by promoting and marketing Bangladesh tourism domestically and internationally. Also, to be engaged in formulating tourism plans and policies for the development of tourism industry, along with attracting foreign investment in the tourism sector. PTB is working with the stakeholders now. Plus, they are also working for the tourism master plan of Bangladesh at the moment. As for myself, I worked for BPC from 1972 to 78. Then I quit to do some trading, join the trading sector as I needed money, more money for my family, but I failed miserably. However, I carried the ideas that most of the countries in the world, they promote their country through through different international meet, international showcases to promote their country to attract foreign visitors. So when I not only me, there was a friend with me in the trading job. So we quit the trading now and we started a tourism company that was the pioneer tour company in Bangladesh, the Guide Tours. Later it was converted to the Guide Tours Limited. So within a very short time, the Guide Tours Limited was very successful. We used to get clients from the USA, Europe, Japan was the main supplier of tourists. But later, then in the year 2000, with some better ideas, I floated another company, the Bengal Tours Limited, with some of my colleagues. We monopolized the Japan market very quickly, and very soon potential market from Europe clicked. We made our market the best service provider in Bangladesh. This continued, but I retired from this company in 2018 and just for leading a leisure life, but I could not do that. Friends from all over the world, I used to know them right from the start of our first company, they used to ask me, why do we are sitting idle? Start something new again. So I started a company, the Journey Wallet. Maybe my company name was mistakenly read as a triple wallet. It should be Journey Wallet. I used to work very lazily, and I introduced my company to my professional friends all over the world, and they used to send me the inquiries, and all these inquiries are taken very good care. But pandemic just killed us, not only Bangladesh, but also all over the world. Many of the tour operators in UK, Italy, those used to work with me, some of them already closed, or some of them sold their property. And also in India, I have 2-3 contacts. They also not working in the tourism sector. In Bangladesh, many of the tour operators, they left the profession and now working in different line. Now things are moving in the positive direction, but I am little scared. War in Ukraine, tourism country Sri Lanka's plight at the moment, and tension build up in the China and Taiwan. For the reason, whole world is suffering from the many reasons, and similarly Bangladesh also suffering for that. And I'm not sure how the Bangladesh will meet this challenge of inflation and other things created by this war and other things. So our government has taken some steps. They have opened all the tourism spot, plus honorable visa is introduced. So anybody can come and visit Bangladesh as they like. So we already received some inquiries, and hopefully they will be coming in the next season. Our season starts from October to March. We are looking forward to that. So this much about the Bangladesh tourism. Regarding challenges of Bangladesh tourism, there are a lot of challenges. Number one, tourism industry is a multidisciplinary, but in Bangladesh, other disciplinary one, tourism ministry also depend on with other ministries, but they are least bothered about the Bangladesh tourism. Secondly, there is lack of infrastructure facilities, updated and sufficient recreation facilities, properly trained people in the hospitality sector, including communicating English languages, as because we need multilingual guide, front office manager, tour managers, etc. So I think an integrated tourism training institute is the need of the hour, with necessary partnership with some renowned foreign training institute. Proper planning from Bangladesh government should be made, which is the response to the Bangladesh Tourism Board to create and develop congenial atmosphere and tourist spot in Bangladesh. Also, necessary case studies may be considered for newer spot, even if found potential may be included in the plan for developing all necessary facilities. Updated and correct information of all spots to be maintained. Website, tourism centers, hotels and restaurants very close to the tourism spots. Next, for development of international visitors, proper marketing idea to be planned in potential market with updated information with the help of foreign ministry and utilizing our embassy and the high commissions. Next comes the visa. Our visa system is really difficult for some of the clients, which we faced during our term when we were working as a tour operator. So it should be simplified. Visa should be simplified. Maybe e-visa may be introduced in Bangladesh. Occasionally, Bangladesh Tourism Board organized the familiarization tour, and I think it should be All these stamps should be designed properly to introduce our country, culture, heritage, historical points, and also including our rural tourism. In special cases, we can organize roadshows to very potential market, maybe 2-3 close markets in one go to cut the cost. Next comes security and safety issues should be the top priority for both domestic and international visitors as well. Another thing, in Bangladesh, I have been talking about taking a survey of the foreign international visitors, which have never been taken. It was done only once in 1976. After that, it has not been taken care. So Bangladesh Tourism Board can take this program for survey on the international visitors to find out main tourist supplying countries, tourist average length of stay, maybe country-wise, preferred hotel standard tourists are looking for, then average spending pattern, frequently visited spot, and comments by the departing visitors for improving our different sectors. Similar survey may be conducted for domestic tourists as well in different spots of the country. All these plans for the tourism development can be undertaken based on the survey findings, including marketing plans to potential tourists in the country. However, I shall especially recommend the following 3 points, which may be and maybe we can get some assistance from IIPT or some of our dignitaries, tourism dignitaries who are here. They can have some source which they can channel to Bangladesh. Setting up of an international standard tourism training institute with special emphasis on the languages, because we need survey on departing international visitors for development of incoming or inbound case studies on tourism sport in Bangladesh. I appreciate your patience listening to my words. So if you have any question, please let me know.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Rehman.
Thank
It
you.
is such a wonderful inputs you have given us. And, you are the first speaker of this webinar. I am so much excited to listening to all the other eminent speakers. And you will not believe, but it is true. I have penned down each and every point because the inputs which you have given to with this through this webinar are really very practical, and they are equally important for my country, India, as well. We are also facing these same similar problems of the languages in the training institutions, and the tourism education level is certainly need to push up more for the youngsters, to be more job oriented and for the entrepreneurship in the coming years, as well as about the e-visa system. It is very much appreciated. Actually, it should be applicable by every country. And the rural tourism, you talk really very well about it also. Of course, after the COVID-19, the safety, security, and hygiene issues are a buzzword for every country. So thank you so very much for your inputs. And I'm equally thankful to all the viewers who are watching us on the social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube, as well as on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm very much excited to let you know all that right now above 100 of persons are watching us this program live. And with this note, I would like to invite our next speaker, our respected next speaker, Dr. Taleb. Dr. Taleb, let me introduce him, although he doesn't need any introduction as he's such a reputed, eminent personality in tourism area, but still it is my duty to introduce it to each and every participant over here. Dr. Taleb, an economist who was the Secretary General of the United Nations World Tourism Organization based in Madrid, Spain until December 31, 2017. Dr. Taleb was elected as Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization at the General Assembly in Astana, Kazakhstan, held in October 2009, at which time he began his 4-year term on January 1, 2010. Dr. Talib has an extensive background in international and national public service, the private sector, and academia. Prior to joining UNWTO, he was the Assistant Director General of the International Labour Organization. Dr. Talib has also served in several ministerial portfolios of the Government of Jordan, Ministry of Planning and International Cooperation, Minister of Information, and others. Other positions he has held include the Director of Economic Mission in Washington, D.C., Director General of the Investment Promotion Corporation of Jordan. Until 1993, Dr. Talib was involved in research, teaching, and practicing architecture and urban design in Jordan and the USA. So, and he is a PhD, and he's a PhD and from IIT in Chicago. So with this introduction, sir, I welcome you in this webinar and looking forward to listening your views, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shah. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I don't deserve all of this. I'm here to introduce a thought about Bangladesh with my good friend Jeffrey Lipman. Jeffrey Lipman has worked with me in UNWTO for 4 years before he left us. Since then, he's been very active in the climate issues. Now, what I want to say is I visited Bangladesh in 2016, 15 or 16. I had the experience of my life. I still talk to everybody about my visit to Bangladesh. It was a unique visit, truly. First of all, there was a minister there. I forgot his name. He took me and met the lady Prime Minister of Bangladesh at the time. And what I told her was exactly what we heard from Mr. Rahman about the visas and about connectivity. She asked me what are the two things that I should do to promote tourism. I told her visas and connectivity. You should get more airlines to stop in Bangladesh and you should make visas very easy. She got a bit nervous and she said, visas, why? Our visas are good. I said, yes, I didn't mean that. What I mean to say is to answer your question only. So now I heard Mr. Rahman and I'm very, very happy to hear from him. There was an emphasis also on domestic tourism. Domestic and regional tourism are very important. They proved to be very important during COVID-19 also, which is one of the benefits of this pandemic. Pandemics are disasters, but you get opportunity out of every disaster that you live through. In Chinese language, the word opportunity and the word crisis are one word. So we should always look at the opportunities. The opportunities there are the rise of domestic tourism. A country that's not enjoyed by its own people cannot be and should not be enjoyed by anybody else from outside. That's a fact. Now, Bangladesh has an advantage. It has a good big population. And that's something many of the developing countries don't have. Many of the smaller destinations, like island destinations, don't have these big numbers of people. So we should concentrate more on domestic tourism. Now, I'll end up summing up some of the conclusions and some of the advice that I would like to give to Bangladesh. First of all, concentrate on domestic tourism. Make tour operators be more conscious and aware of the importance of domestic tourism. Secondly, work on air connections and visas. This has to come from the top of the government, from your Prime Minister, not from anybody else. Because tourism, as has said by Mr. Rahman, is not a sector that's very much respected by many governments, unfortunately. They don't look at it as something that's very vital and important. So we need to speak to the highest government authority on that. And the Prime Minister in Bangladesh is a very high authority. They should concentrate on doing that. Because visas and connectivity are two very important issues to resolve before we move on to something else. Now, when I was in Bangladesh, I also went down to Chittagong, which is on the beach side, on the borders with Myanmar. I reached the borders of Myanmar with the minister at the time. It was a very, very useful and very fruitful visit. It's one of destinations where you respect the people there a lot. People of Bangladesh are the greatest asset. The walls between visitors and local people must be lowered, for sure, because the higher the walls are, the more resentful are the local population to the visitors. Now, I know Mr. Jeffrey Lippman is going to speak about climate change. I want to say something about that. Sustainability is not just about the climate, it's about social and economic sustainability as well. Social and economic sustainability to do with the local community. The local community has to engage more and benefit directly from the values of tourism. If they don't do that, tourism will never flourish. In India, for example, Dr. Sharma, in the city of Hyderabad that I said several times, there was a hotel there, a Taj hotel. It was attacked by the local community and burned down because you can't build 5-star hotels in 3-star communities. Communities have to rise up to the level of the surrounding its institutions. And that can only happen if the investment tourism tries to engage itself with the local community. I think so. I would stop at this point and give my opportunity to others to hear from. I'm more than happy and more than ready to answer any question regarding Bangladesh, because it's a wonderful country. When Riza told me about the seminar, I said I'm not going to miss it at all. Bangladesh is a country that deserves a lot of attention and a lot of good work. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Taleb. It is really, you truly raise very good points. Like you said that this pandemic is actually not just a disaster. We have to be positive and we have to take it as an opportunity, especially to develop the domestic tourism. And indeed, it is true, at least in the case of Indian tourism industry, I can say it without any doubts, that it is really proved as an opportunity for domestic tourism in our country. Moreover, this point is also very valid, that without the community engagement, we cannot think about the development of a country. Because I do have lots of cases in our country, like the community is engaged in the homestays rather than just focusing on the 7-star, 5-star hotels. These days, people, especially in the northeast areas, they are even in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, South India, they are focusing on homestays. So yes, it's true that if you want your country to be developed in a sustainable way, we must have to encourage the community engagement. And with this note, I would like to say thanks to you from the bottom of my heart for giving such a relevant inputs in this webinar. Thank you so much. And our next speaker is Dr. Abdul Hamid. So we have Professor Abdul Hamid with us. He is serving as a professor of the Department of Business Administration in Shahjaal University of Science and Technology. He has completed his PhD in tourism marketing and MSc in European tourism management. He is author of 10 books and 22 articles. Moreover, he is a regular contributor of national dailies. He is working hard to improve the level of professionalism in teaching as well as in research through obtaining and sharing creative knowledge. Welcome, Professor Abdul Hamid. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but it is a little low.
Very low.
The sound is a little low.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I would like to divide my discussion in 2 parts. First one, why rethinking is required after the 5 decades of achieving our independence. And the other part is where to restart. At first, why rethinking is required? Just think. From our childhood, we are listening that tourism is very promising in Bangladesh. But actually, we don't know why all the people are telling this myth. I tell it myth because we have no specific research, no database, and no concrete research findings. Even we don't have a complete scenario of the tourism sector of Bangladesh. But mass people, tourism practitioners, even the policymakers are uttering this sentence frequently that tourism is very promising in Bangladesh. Then why we are not getting the outcomes, the benefits of these potentiality? The second one is the most people of our country think that tourist means international tourists. When we talk about tourism development, our focus goes to the international tourists. But we don't think about the compose of our tourism market. Actually, 98.6% domestic tourists are enriching this sector. Only we have 1.4% international tourists. Even there is a doubt they are tourists or not, because any people from outside, if they enter into Bangladesh, they are treated as tourists. Their purpose of visit is not critically analyzed. Then why do always focus? Why do we always
এটা ঠিক আছে
focus on international tourists?
আসলে একটু বাড়ায়
So,
বেশি বলে ফেলছি কিন্তু আমি আসলে
we
মজা
should
করে
give
বলছি সত্যি কথা
attention to a particular
পরে আমি বলতে পারছি যে ঠিক আছে আমি তোকে আচ্ছা আবার কিছু খাবো না সিভেন ভাইটা আবার যে বসবেন
most probably Jahid Hassan.
আচ্ছা মিষ্টি কিছু খাবো না দুধওয়ালা থেকে মিষ্টি খাবো না আচ্ছা তাহলে ওয়াফেল খাই গিয়ে আবার চলো ওয়াফেল খাই গিয়ে
It's creating problem. Okay, another thing is we utter the terminology marketing, but when we plan about marketing, actually we think about some so-called tourism fairs and some advertisements. Even those are very occasional. But as a service-centered sector, we should consider 7 P's, but mostly they are attaining 1 or 2 P's. So they are completely ignoring the most important parts like product development, the training and development of the people, or distribution and creating international network and other things. Even though we frequently tell that we are being digital gradually, but our online presence is very poor. There is no an integrated website where all the required information can be found. In this tough competitive environment with poor presence in online, it's not possible to gain desired success. And there is another myth that Bangladesh is a very low-cost destination. But if we compare with some countries like India, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, if you go to the star hotels, quality restaurants, and other transportation, it's very expensive. But always we tell that it is very low cost, but actually it's not. So we are not finding out the real problem. Another thing, it is said, always said that our people are very hospitable. It might be, most people are very hospitable, but when a tourist visits to a destination, he goes to the touch of some people who are not professional. And always they would like to get some money from the tourists in any way, in any means. So most people might be hospitable, but our service providing people are not so much professional and they do not behave in that way, which we get in other competitive countries. So I think we should start rethinking about our tourism and its development. Now the question is where to restart. At first, I will say we should have a complete and meaningful research so that we can get in-depth scenario of our tourism sector. And then we have to specify our market. Just we are talking about, we have to develop it, we have to promote it, but to whom we will promote our products? It's not clear. So we should find out the specific market, and for them, we should develop our products. From the very beginning, we have some natural resources. These are actually called the tourism supplies. But we have to convert these supplies into tourism products according to the demand requirement of our potential tourists. And in that case, I think we should give priority to our domestic tourists. Because if we do so many promotional activities to the European and America and other developed countries, they will not come here suddenly to visit Bangladesh. As the domestic tourists are keeping huge contribution in our tourism sector, so we should at first focus on their necessities, on their demand and expenditure pattern, and based on that, we should diversify our products. Then we have to build our network. Our policymakers always talk about the international tourists, but they're less interested about the international investors. But if we can attract international investment, then it will be easy to get access in the international market. So building network is very important with other tour operators, tourism agencies, and even the other national different organizations who are working with tourism development. And I will emphasize on the efficiency and skills of our manpower. We should have more training and development in institutions where we can produce the standard and quality manpower who will serve our tourists. And then the process should be very easy and convenient. If someone would like to visit Bangladesh, from the very beginning, they have to suffer in all stages of their traveling because the process is not up to date yet. So we have to work out on it. And my earlier speakers have mentioned about the development of our tourism infrastructures. I will also mention it because our infrastructures are developed for general purpose, not for tourism. So when we are going from one city to another, it is fine. But from the city, when we are heading to the destination, the road safety, security, and other issues becomes really tough and to some extent insecure. For this reason, developing tourism infrastructure is very important. And finally, focusing on overall marketing, not only advertising, not only so-called tourism fairs, because there is an extreme negative side of so-called tourism fairs. Our people are organizing the event and the tour operators of other countries are coming here, they are showcasing their product and they are selling the package to our people. So our money is going outside. In such event, how the tourism sector of Bangladesh can be benefited. So we have to restart on these issues. If we can do this, then really we can enjoy the benefits of the potentiality of the tourism sector of Bangladesh. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Abdul Hamid, for the nice inputs. And undoubtedly, you said very correctly that the research is, of course, the backbone of any country, and for tourism especially, because it is a multidisciplinary subject, we certainly need it more. And of course, training to the local persons who are engaged somehow or connected somehow with the tourism industry, it is a very much needed thing to give them training, like to the auto rickshaw drivers, or maybe to the persons who have small shop, or the main market shopkeepers. It is very much important to give the training that how to deal with the tourists, whether it is an international or domestic tourist. But tourism is an industry for the people, by the people, and definitely the manpower is actually is something. If it is good, then you will certainly able to make an image of your country in a positive way in front of everyone. So yes, it is rightly said, and definitely Bangladesh and in fact India and why not Sri Lanka, there are lots of countries who really want to encourage the international investments, especially after post pandemic. So yes, these are the very nice outputs which you have given us today to this webinar. Thank you so very much. So now we have our next speaker, who is a very creative person. Why I'm saying this creative person? Because when I was gone through with the profile of Mr. Abu Sufyan, I was really surprised to read out his profile. It is such a long profile. If I'll be going to read out the entire profile, it will take another 20 to 25 minutes. So, but I'm very much impressed with this profile. Mr. Abu Sufyan, he has completed his master's degree in accounting from Dhaka University. The great features of his compositions are simplicity, humor, and wit. The author, who is better known to travel readers in Bangladesh as a travel writer and editor, as a playwright and director to television viewers, has been published in newspapers since early 19th. Abu Sufyan, who has been associated with the print and electronic media from almost 3 decades, now regularly publishes an international standard travel magazine. He has written and still is writing in almost all the Bangladeshi national dailies like Jugantar, Ittifaq, etc. His columns title Half an Hour, that is Adha Ghanta, if I'm not wrongly pronouncing, and 45 minutes respectively made him widely popular as a popular writer in Bangladesh. His writings on travel to several countries on 4 continents, including Europe, Asia, and Australia, Canada, has been especially appreciated by the readers. He has already published 20 books, including 6 novels. In addition to working in print and electronic media, he is a researcher and enjoying teaching in a university and several professional institutions. Abu Sufyan, who is involved in journalism, regularly writes and directs plays for televisions. In the meantime, there are more than 500 episodes of drama serial written and directed by him. And there is lots of things which I would like to talk about him, but certainly we do have a time limitation. So without making much of the introduction now, I would like to listen to you, Mr. Abu Sufyan. Over to you, sir, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, and very blessed moment from Dhaka. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma, for your kind words. Yes, I am a tourism lover people, so I am going directly because of we have the time limitation. Tourism of Bangladesh, actually in consideration of the potential of tourism, Bangladesh is called the unique delta of 70 A's. These 70 A's mean tourism attractions. And these attractions are seas, rivers, seas, mountains, forest, history, tradition, culture, seasonal variation. These are called 70A. So this is to say, if one of the elements of the 70As is present in a place or in a country, it is called good for tourism. If it has 2, it is called better for tourism. And if it has more than 2, it is called best. So by considering the above, Bangladesh position in tourism field is best plus. So you may ask the question why Bangladesh is not in a state where it could have last 50 years. It's a different issue. So in sometimes in next time I can explain about this. So Bangladesh is still untapped and unexplored. And in COVID reality, this is another dimensional thing is the COVID has changed the world. And this change will continue for a long time. And its impact in tourism is undeniable and significantly. However, in the post-COVID-19 world, 5 sectors have emerged in a wide and multidimensional manner and have emerged the multidimensional manner and have continued to accelerate the economic and social life. Out of the 5 sectors, domestic tourism is one, and Bangladesh has been predicted from various research and surveys as one of the countries that are most likely to succeed here in this post-COVID-19 tourism. This is very significant. And not only that, in achieving of SDGs for Bangladesh, tourism is very significant. As you know, there are 17 goals each country have to get 70 SDGs or sustainable development goal has to achieve in a country. And according to UNWTO, there are 3 goals directly related with tourism. But in the case of Bangladesh, it is very different. Normally in other countries there are 11 to 13 ministries are related and associated in the tourism sector, but in Bangladesh there are 22 ministries and 50 division are more than 50 division are directly associated and related with the tourism. At the same time, there are 6 goals of SDGs related to tourism directly. So this is very significant for the Bangladesh tourism sector. And in the post-COVID period, this tourism has come to Bangladesh as an opportunity. What I call, this is the penalty shoot for Bangladesh economy. In a football match, when we get the penalty shoot, the chance has increased to make a goal and to win, and tourism is like that for us. And Bangladesh has got the very good opportunity in post-COVID-19 tourism. You may see why I am telling like this. We have a research, the TRD or Tourism Research and Development, and we have a co-work with the Oxford Economic Research. According to Oxford Economic Research, the post-COVID tourism till 2024, it will range up from 100 to 300 miles. That means 161 kilometer to 482 kilometer people will visit normally till 2024. So in this regard, domestic tourism is the main factor to make this, what Dr. Taleb Rifai has said earlier, and he has said in 2015 as well in Dhaka. So this is happening in Dhaka. We have given a prediction that Bangladesh is going for a tourism population in 2021, and it is happening. You can say why Bangladesh is so lovely position and what Bangladesh does have. If in a single word, I can tell you, Bangladesh have 2,346 very special tourism attractions. It is very, very special. And out of them, there are 19 sea beaches, which 10 have very different in character. It's very different character. We only know about Cox's Bazar, Poteng, and Kuakata, but out of them, we have a very special sea beach. It is named Kiama Sea Beach. The people who have been visit in Australia, Sydney, the Kiama Sea Beach, one of the finest, one of the different sea beach in the world is called Kiama Beach, where the shore doesn't come with jumping and people don't jump to shower there. The Kiama Beach, what the water does usually, the water of Kiama Beach dances and come to the shore, doesn't roar, come to the shore, kisses the shore and go back. Dances, come to the shore, kisses and go back. This is the nature of the Kiama Sea Beach. And people sit there and passes whole days by fish and chips. And Bangladesh has like this kind of sea beach. It is called the Kattuli Sea Beach in Chittagong. It is still unexplored. So this is very different. We have another sea beach in Guliakhali. This is very different. We have 500 20 water related. We have six and mountains, very different. We have the UNESCO's heritage of Bagerhat and Shat Gumbuz Mosque. We have the mangrove forest. We have the pavilion of Bangladesh, the Sonargaon in Panamnagar. So many material we have. It is altogether 2,346. Now you can ask a question: what is the international standard of these attractions? This question, so many foreign people and my friends who are working in Dhaka's embassy and abroad, they ask me, what is the standard of your tourism attraction of this? If I can compare it with the international standard, according to my experience, my writings, I can say, apart from Cox's Bazar, the people who have been visited, the people have said it is very different, very nice than Miami Sea Beach. It is a unbroken longest sea beach in the world. Not only that, we have a Sajek Valley. This mountain is called the Spanish Bilbao of Bangladesh. So if you once visit the Sajek Valley, so you just can compare. Spanish Bilbao is the summer Switzerland of Spain. I have been visited there and I have written a book about this. So Sajek Valley is like that. If you can visit the Bandorbal Mohalchori, it is like the Ladakh. The people who visited the Ladakh, you can get one Ladakh in Bandorbal Mohalchori to Shindukchori. If you can visit the Kashmir, the Jhelum Lake, and if you can visit the Sunamganj, Tanguar Haor and other haors, so you can get the flavor of Kashmir. So this is unbelievable. The people who have been visited in Venice or the Thailand, the floating market, and who visit the Pirojpur Sharupkati, the floating market of Bangladesh, you will be amazed. And the foreign people, especially the ambassadors living in Dhaka, who visited in Sharupkati, and they told it is amazing. It is much different, much great than Venice or the Thailand floating market. This is absolutely fantastic. So if you can visit the Chittagong, it is called the Vatieri, and who have visited the Blue Mountain in Australia, you can compare the Vatieri. It is one Australia here in Bangladesh. So another thing in our Sylhet, the rainy season is the unique in the world. So you cannot see this sort of rain, this sort of water anywhere in the world. And we have two very special swamp forests in the world. There are 11 swamp forests, and of them, two is in Bangladesh. One is very popular. It is called Ratargul Swamp Forest, and another is Lokhi Baur Swamp Forest. It is in Hobbyganj. It is very different and very exceptional. So in a single nutshell, we can say in a small country, you can get at a time the Indian flavor, the Southeast Asian flavor, in European flavor. Oh, you can visit the Kaptai Lake, and who have been visited in the Zurich Park in Switzerland, you will say it is the Zurich Park in Bangladesh. So many wonderful things here, but it is untapped. So in a single nutshell, I can say in a very small places, you can get so many flavors of Europe, of India, of Southeast Asia, and even there is a waterfall in Shitakundo. It is called Shupta Shur Jhulna, the sleeping waterfall. So the waterfall is started actually from July to September. It's a huge waterfall, something difficult to go, though, but it is very different, and people compare it with the Niagara waterfall. This is very amazing, actually. So in the post-COVID period, according to Voice Age research, 65% European, especially the French, want to visit. Previously, the European want to visit multi-destination at a time, but now people's concept have changed. They want to visit single destination, and they prefer in a single destination where everything have, and there is a dimension of tourism attraction. They prefer this sort of country, this sort of location, and Bangladesh have everything of this. In a single destination, you can get everything. So this is very important issue. So this is one of the reasons Bangladesh is in the line to be succeed in the tourism sector in the post-COVID period. And the second issue is what I want to emphasize more significantly. What told Dr. Taleb Rifai as well, the domestic tourism. In Bangladesh, there are 4.6 million people visit around the country, and they all are rich people. 2.9 million people visit, especially India. 300,000 visit in Malaysia, 200,000 in Singapore, 500,000 in Middle East, Australia, and Europe. So these big numbers of people, local people, and they are rich people, they are visiting Bangladesh. So there is a big booming. Already we will get this year, and we are seeing this. And altogether, if we can catch this domestic tourist properly, we can handle it properly. Our policymakers can give them tourism facility to this tourist. What Taleb Rifai told in 2016 in Dhaka, he told, if you can build your domestic tourism facilities, international tourism will automatically be started here. To domestic tourism is important because of the income from domestic tourism is 7 times higher than international tourism. This is another important issue. And in Bangladesh, another thing is tourism needs the young people, youth people. In Bangladesh, there are 40 million people. They are young and they are giving the service in tourism sector, not only in Bangladesh, but in Southeast Asia, in so many acres group hotels and other countries as well. So regarding Bangladesh in the post-COVID period, it is what the headline of our today's webinar, restart and Rethink. Actually, tourism have another word we use. It is called start with no beginning. Everything have a opening. We have lot of arrangement, lot of things we have to do, but tourism doesn't need so many things. It is called start with no beginning. So we can start our tourism now at this point. So I am welcoming all the foreign peoples and the peoples who are joining here to visit Bangladesh, and Bangladeshi people are waiting to welcoming you, whatever he or she has. A very hospitable Bangladeshi people. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present Bangladesh.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abu. And I think you have very truly justified my sentence, which I have said in the very starting of our webinar, that today we are going to explore Bangladesh with the help of this webinar. And I'm amazed to know about the tourism spots, tourism products in Bangladesh, because whenever I have searched about the tourist projects and the tourism destinations of Bangladesh, maximum of time, I have gone through with the Sundarbans and the tigers and a few things which you have actually named. But the things which you told us today, they are actually unexplored. I have never ever heard even about these things. I'm really excited to see Bangladesh in person now. And I would like to request Reza from this platform, that because he's the founder of Tourism Webinars, he's a person who can speak 7 languages and a very talented person. Rather than making it virtually, next time plan it in an offline mode at Bangladesh only, because I think you have lots of unexplored places, and I would love to, being a person academician from the travel background, I would love to explore these places. And you rightly said about the sustainable development goals. Of course, every country have to focus on the sustainable development goals by and this is the way. And this is also very good saying. I have noted this line, that start from no beginning. It is very true. And when we are talking about tourism, please don't think out of the box. We must have to focus like there's no box, because it's tourism. We cannot make it into the boundaries. Thank you so very much. And with this note of thanks to you, I would like to shift to my next speaker, who is Dr. Shehnaz Jahan. She is a professor of archaeology, founder, director of the Center of Archaeological Studies, and the head of the Department of General Education at the University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh. She is involved in teaching and research in South and Southeast Asian archaeology, community archaeology, Buddhist art and archaeology, Islamic art and archaeology, and South Asian art and architecture, urbanization and Asian cities, Indian Ocean trade, culture, heritage management, community-based sustainable development, heritage policy, and law. She is a lawyer at Dhaka Bar Association. She is a is a founder, trustee, and director of the Center of Heritage Studies. She completed MA in Islamic Art and Archaeology from the Department of Islamic History and Culture, University of Dhaka in 1991 by scoring first-class first position in the combined merit list and also earned the distinction of scoring record marks. She completed her MPhil degree in 1997 and PhD in 2004 from the Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeological, Deccan College, Postgraduate and Research Institution, Pune, India. She is the author of 4 books, 32 book chapters, 35 articles, 16 encyclopedia entries, 3 book reviews, 18 public outreach publications, and the editor of 2 books. She is a life member of many of the historical and archaeological societies at home and abroad. She is regularly organizing heritage festivals, seminars, webinars, conferences, workshops, discussions, forums, and training program for preserving, promoting, and managing cultural heritage of South and Southeast Asia. She received Ananya Top 10 Award, Asia Fellow Award, and Shere Bengal Smriti Padak 2014. We welcome you, Dr. Shehnaz Jahan, for your speech, please. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your long introduction. And you didn't really wanted to miss maybe a single word. Thank you very much that you brought out all these things. Good evening to you all. Let me express my sincere thanks to the organizers for inviting me here and, to say a few words on this topic where Bangladesh tourism rethink and restart. I like it so much because I think this is the time to rethink and, restart, because the tourism each day getting a new shape, and where we are talking about the community, that also, coming out with in many aspects, in many different ways, and which we should cover all the things. So that is why I feel this is very important. Each time we should revise ourselves and rethink and restart. So thank you very much to take this kind of title also. I really appreciate it. Now, coming to this topic, as we were hearing Mutiur Rahman, Taleb Rifat, and Abu Sufyan, all of them has highlighted the opportunities and lots of, showcasing Bangladesh's, and also Mutiur Rahman brought out some challenges. There is now, by this time, everybody knows this, Bangladesh is very rich with its innumerable cultural heritage, and especially archaeological heritage, because I will focus on that. So archaeological heritage, when I'm talking about archaeological heritage, is the culture of the people, culture of the past people, which we feel proud that we are not, coming from nowhere. We had at least 10,000 years, 30,000 years, or 100,000 years history, and we are having we are in a place where we have the history of urbanization of 5,000 years. So that is the place we should focus on. And but I will say the culture of the people of Bangladesh, such as like indigenous performances, ritual beliefs, religious practices and thoughts, the philosophical development, and also the traditional craftsmanship, that each and everywhere in Bangladesh, these are evolved from, from the various utilitarian and intellectual practices, and these practices of the people like who are inhabiting this land for thousands of years. So now thousands of years evolving these things, these practices also keeps sign in the archaeological contexts. So we do have material evidences in the archaeological context about all these cultural behaviors of the people who were living in this area. So, of course, these heritages are great significance and having relevance to any sustainable development planning vision for Bangladesh, as we were here for planning Bangladesh, and but we should remember that any heritage preservation and conservation, may it tangible cultural heritages or intangible cultural heritages or natural heritages, I will say this is especially in developing countries like Bangladesh with a booming population. Here is the heritage preservation and conservation has heavily depended on the support offered by the local community. So we have to think about the local community, and we have to keep them in our all in all kinds of planning, right from the exploration to in making the list of inventory, and from there to develop a tourist destination. So each phases the community should be involved. Now, how that is issue that we have to think how these things will come and do that. As I said, I will focus on archaeological matter, like archaeotourism especially, and the archaeotourism based on the also local community, focusing on them. So I'll divide the two things separately. One, let me first talk about how rich Bangladesh is archaeologically or archaeological heritage wise. So to begin, I will say that we have the history of urbanization, as I said already. So we do have history of urbanization and globalization from the last 2,500 years, like Mahastan. Like what I'm saying now, what we have the excavated evidences. So I'm not talking about the legends or not talking about the literary evidences, which we have many, but I'm just focusing on the material evidence coming from the excavation. So where we have Mahastangad or Wari Boteshwar or Bitorgad or Ghoraghat or Bagherhat or all these areas where we have the evidences of urbanization and globalization. Now, these sites are very important in the archaeological context where urbanization and globalization is concerned. The sites are not only an urban center, they were not only an urban center, but having huge hinterlands. That is also very important, that huge hinterlands they were covering and participated in the Indian Ocean Trade Network. So we all know that Indian Ocean Trade Network or Indian Ocean regions were vast, and these sites were also participated into this network, means these are linked with the Rome in the west and China in the east. These also we focus that the many archaeological sites on the route, like the Silk Road or the Maritime Silk Road, all the sites were linked through. So that is another aspects of tourism, because when we are talking about the tourism, we should highlight each segments, separately. So because the tourist may have a different intention, different liking, and accordingly they can choose with whatever they wanted to visit. So these sites were also used as outlets, as an outlet, like outlet of landlocked region, like we have Bhutan, Nepal, Tibet, Sikkim, which were all landlocked, north of Bangladesh, and then Bangladesh giving the outlet to them, to the outwards and to the world. So these are also also the country like Kuch Bihar, Assam, Meghalayas are also these states, also the Seven Sisters, all these landlocked regions were also getting the outlets through these ports. These sites are also many archaeological sites in Bangladesh, like Mahasthangarh, Wari Bateshwara, Shomopura Mahabihara, archaeological sites in Lalmai Mainamoti region, where Shalban Bihar, Ananda Bihara, Kotila Mora, Rubban Mora, all these sites were there, and Chittagong. The port is functioning for 2000 years in the same location. So that's also very important. A port which is ravages of time, surviving for last 2000 years, right from Ptolemy mentioning about this port, and till the European traders and Portuguese, Dutch, they also mentioning about this port. And also these were also connected to the Silk Road, as I said. Now, if we see about the science, engineering, the medical science, all these aspects, especially when we are talking about the climate change, and when we are talking about today's lots of disasters management and all this. In this context, like water management, water harvesting, irrigation, cultivation, flood management, many other natural disaster like earthquake, we have the material evidences in the archaeological context. Bhitorgarh is one of the important archaeological sites which I excavated. And also the Wari Bateshwar showing that signs, Mahasthangarh also showing all these signs. So we know now with the specific chronologically, which year, that which kind, how vast flood affected or the earthquake affected, and how these people, manage that situation. And also that how these people, they made their city, that flood free, or how they are making their architecture to face this kind of earthquake, to manage this earthquake and all these things. Those are also important evidence in the archaeological context which we have now. Since Bangladesh, as you know, this is the deltaic region and it's the lower delta of Ganges, it produces very fine clay, and for that the artists of Bangladesh expresses their all this expression comes in the important medium they are using, that's clay, that fine clay. So we do have a special varieties of pottery, and at the same time the ornamentation, and as well as various terracotta architecture like terracotta temples, mosque, moat, mausoleum, palaces, and all these also still represent their beautiful work in the archaeological context, like Kantoji Temple, Puthia temples were not over there. Various religious philosophy and thoughts, as I say, it is practiced and developed in this land. So we do have Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, right from the 4th century BC to the 18th century. We have that complete chronological development, which religion are coming, which philosophy getting in, and how they are practicing. And the material evidence like built heritage, we have the Buddhist heritage, biharas, stupas, temples. We do have Jaina sculptures, temples. We have Hinduism, like Hindu temples, mosques, palaces, lots of roads, bridges, during that period. Islamic monuments like mosque, mausoleum, palaces again, and the cities. Christianity, we have churches, chapels. So we can, each group, we can have develop the tourism and show the people that, look, this is so society and multi-religious group, and they are living together. It's very interesting when we are getting in that same archaeological context all these evidences and material evidence in the form of built heritage as we have. So we can also make the pilgrimage routes, different religious pilgrimage routes, and making the tourism in that sector also. I would say that archaeological heritage tourism can play a significant role in the nation building as well in Bangladesh, because these materials are touchstone for us. And as I say, the community plays a very important role. How I address this issue because when I started my work in Bangladesh in archaeological sector, so at first I have focused on that what are the gaps in Bangladesh's history we still do not know. Let me find out that. And when I visited all the interior area and found the villages, the local communities, they are so interested into it, and they were very not only interested but intelligent as well to pick up the work so fast. I think they are better than my students. So I trained them. I trained the local community to the all kinds of work in all levels. I have trained the landowners. I have trained the children's and also the local professionals. So those people, then I brought my students over there and they taught my students. So I taught the villagers, they taught my students. They were so much, felt happy to do so. And here we have Mukhlisur Rahman, and he knows, he visited the site, and he is in fact very much part of my all endeavor. I must thank him in front of this in this panel, because I got this opportunity to thank him here. And he is always very helpful. So whenever I need him, and I will say the tourism, in fact, I learned from him only. So yes, so we have done this work, and then we thought that
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Professor, because we have a time limitation of 10 minutes only for each speaker.
I'm just concluding. So
yeah, sure.
We have, like, when we were thought of this involving the community, apart from everybody thinking about the homestay or the local food or the performances, we thought, why don't we find out the people's interest and make the heritage festival? So that is how our heritage festival is the complete one, and all kinds of heritages are included in this and involved with the archaeological heritage as well. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry if I have taken a minute or two more.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Professor Shehnaz for the input, and it is a very interesting talk, and I'm really glad to know about the religious of tourism opportunities. And I have to say that you are working for a very pious job by protecting and promoting the archaeological sites of your country. So congratulations for that. With this note, I would like to invite our very reputed and eminent speaker of today, Mr. Jeffrey Lipman. He has served on public-private sector boards in Africa, Europe, Middle East, and Canada. He's a member of EU Commissions on Airline Liberalization, worked closely with the World Economic Forum since the early 90s on its competitiveness and smart travel activities. Formerly, he was the executive director of IATA. He was the first president of WTTC, assistant Secretary General of UNWTO, and currently he is a president of a strong universal network. He played a key role in the emergence of tourism as serious social economic sector, written and lectured widely on tourism strategies, sustainability, and liberalization, co-authored editor of 2 books and many journal articles on green growth. He is a person who actually doesn't require any sort of introduction. He is very well known in the entire globe. Welcome you, sir. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I have only one message today, and to paraphrase Greta Thunberg, I want to scale. We have a code red climate crisis. Extreme weather is already battering every part of the planet. And my message is get ready before it's too late. There will be no special protection for Bangladesh. There will be no special protection for tourism. Declarations are nice, but they will not change the situation. We have already reached 1.2 degrees of the Paris 1.5 degrees. And greenhouse gas emissions are still increasing. And we have to act now, and we have to do it for our kids. Business as usual is not going to happen. Bangladesh has a well-known climate exposure at the coast and throughout the delta. You experience cyclones, and you have heat domes in Dhaka. The traditional climate risk studies have already projected a 50 centimeter rise in sea level by 2050, with some 11% of land covered and up to 18 million climate migrants. And we are seeing signs everywhere around the world today that this may simply be too conservative. Flooding estimates are increasing in the delta as the Himalayan snow melts increasingly faster. And intensifying heat may be of even greater immediate threat than floods. Death-delivering temperatures, wildfires, drought, starvation. And it is only intensifying because the blanket of pollution around the planet is increasing, it's not reducing. And inside that blanket, there is an increasing volatility of weather patterns everywhere. These are not conditions for traditional tourism operations. It will radically affect domestic. I've listened to the discussion about domestic tourism. It will affect domestic as well as international tourism. It will affect infrastructure and every aspect of operations and service. Now, I can't tell you what you should do because it's your country and your daily reality, not mine. But I can advise you to factor this in as the base for the future into every tourism discussion you have, every plan you make, every action you take, every marketing discussion. At Sunex Malta, the small EU NGO that I run nowadays, we have set up a code red climate-friendly travel support system for climate risk assessment and response. It's not the reduction in greenhouse gases which is going to make the immediate change. It's how resilient you become to what's already plugged into the system and can't be changed. We need to meet the Paris 1.5 targets and the SDG targets. There's no question about that. But we need to prepare for today and tomorrow's realities. If companies or communities want to sign up to our global climate-friendly travel registry, we try to plug them in and work with our national network of young, graduate, strong climate champions. We, all of us on this call, are not going to be the ones who have to deal with the real challenges. It's the next generation, and we need to educate the next generation, and we need to train them to help develop a kind of new form of tourism which will respond to this kind of reality. And that means to find best practice solutions on the ground specific to your country. We will build a network of young people in Bangladesh. We will look for partners. Maybe some of you on this call will take heed of what I'm saying and please contact me afterwards. This is not a rehearsal. This is not nice marketing talk. This is the real world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful words. It is really thought-provoking. And
Thank
I
you,
have to say that climate support system is actually a very holistic approach, and it will save our future generation. And I would like to request all the speakers and all the participants, as Mr. Lipman correctly said, that you may contact him afterwards the webinar. So please, it is a serious issue and we have to take it on serious notes for our future generations at least. Thank you so very much for your inputs, Dr. Lipman. So with this, I would like to now shift to my another speaker. She is Rehnuma Salam Khan. She is currently working as a director of Bengal Bandhu Sheikh Muzarim Rahman International Institute of Tourism and Hospitality, Deputy Director of Bangladesh Tourism Board. She is working with Bangladesh government for 25 years, mostly in the areas of strategic planning, project management, development projects, sectoral action plans. Currently, she is looking after the public relations and international relation related matters for BTM, that is Bangladesh Tourism Board. She did her bachelor and master's in economics from Dhaka University. She's MA in development economics from the Williams College, USA. Thank you so very much for being with us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. First, my apologies, because after all these, designated speakers, I really feel threatened to say something. So please bear my, ignorance. I will just say a few words that what Bangladesh Tourism Board is actually currently doing and what we are planning to do on upholding tourism. First of all, the topic of this today's webinar is rethinking tourism. So I was actually, and especially after Jeffrey just said, I was thinking, what could be this thing, rethinking tourism in what shape? So it could be rethinking tourism from this extravaganza 4-5-star hotel-based to resort-based tourism to ecotourism or community-based tourism, bringing the livelihoods, and of course, by keeping the mind of the climate change issue. It should be the main agenda of rethinking. That if you write down something like that, trend changing era or something like that. So that paradigm shift, like from very extravaganza, hotel-based tourism to community-based tourism, where we can build, we can involve the community and also the rural. So at this moment, Tourism Board actually working with the master plan, and this is the first time that Bangladesh government is working with the master plan, and we are hoping that we will adopt the master plan in December. I will just give you some ideas about why this master plan is so important, because it includes sustainability and inclusiveness, which is very important for also climate change and environment issues. And the mission of the master plan is for sustainable development and climate adaptation through responsible tourism. So I think whatever we are talking about, that rethinking about tourism, it's also include responsible tourism. So this is the one issue that I want to flag, that this will be our mission or core value of our master plan. This plan also will include 10 themes of tourism, and you are all expert on that. I will just read out the 10 themes. That of course it will be archaeological or historical tourism, ecotourism, riverine tourism, pilgrimage, adventure or sports, beach tourism, gastronomy tourism, rural tourism, and MICE. So these are the 10 themes that the master plan will focus on, and of course, by keeping that sustainability and inclusiveness in mind. So we did actually a study which is the impact of COVID-19 in the tourism and hospitality sector. And it is a huge study with a huge statistically significant sample. I will just give you one of the message from that impact. Is that there is a loss in gross value addition about 6 billion USD in the tourism, solely in the tourism sector. And there is a huge job loss. So the study also revealed that the tourism and hospitality sector are one of the hard hit due to COVID. And we are all aware of, because it is not for Bangladesh, it's for all the countries. So, but at the same time, the COVID also gave some opportunities also. When the COVID rate started going down, actually the domestic tourism really, kind of, you say that, reborn. So there is a huge increase, significant rise in the domestic tourism. And Bangladesh the Tourism Board has already started piloting on community-based tourism in Sylhet region and in the Chittagong region. But these are very, I would say, compared to the nation's focus, it is very small and insignificant. And there are some kind of, I would say, standalone initiatives by UNDP and USAID on community-based tourism. But as I said, that I think, because I'm in the tourism board for a very short period of time, but as I worked in the strategic planning, I have seen that there is the issue of lack of coordination or integrated approach from the government part addressing this, community-based or rural tourism, which are all kind of a bit connected to each other. Another issue that the BTB has recently started is improving the human resources in the tourism and hospitality sector, where actually I am right at this moment and managing an institute which called Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman International Institute of Tourism and Hospitality. We just started our first batch on 2 trades. One is food and beverage services, and another is tour and ticketing. But we are going to start all the related trades, and we have a national curriculum, what we call NTVQF. So this is a nationally approved curriculum. But as actually, I think Mr. Abu Sufyan has mentioned, and maybe another a colleague of mine has mentioned, that there is a huge lack of international standard and quality of the training in the human resource. So our institute is aiming to address that, but we are currently exploring the possibility of partnering with Nepal, the similar institute. I think you are all aware about NATAM. And we're also currently exploring 2 institutes from India. I think it's shortly called BPC or I'm not sure the names, but there are 2. And we're also communicating, exploring PATA for conducting tailor-made courses where actually the private sectors who are working in the tourism sector can improve their business strategy learning from the COVID. So these are the issues actually currently Bangladesh Tourism Board is handling. But apart from that, of course, I may echo with our previous speakers, but the challenges. So one of the core challenge is the lack of mainstreaming. The Ministry of Civil Aviation and Tourism is giving a very high priority for the tourism, but it is not mainstreamed among the government. So the mainstreaming is there. So what BTB we are currently doing, identifying the relevant stakeholders actually. For example, Ministry of Home is very important. Ministry of Environment is very important. Ministry of River Transport are very important. So bringing them, and we are exploring some sort of forum, establishing forum or something like that, where all the relevant stakeholders can actually speak together, and we can also give the message that without supporting from all those relevant stakeholders, we can't achieve what we are planning through the master plan. So that is one issue. And of course, very naturally, the infrastructure. We have a problem with the infrastructure, though there are a lot of, like I would say, landmark landmark development or establishments in Bangladesh in the infrastructure area, but
you are muted, I think.
Please unmute yourself.
Yeah,
I don't
audible.
know, somebody muted me. Now you can hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is an issue, and of course we have a huge problem with the marketing. So we have lots of products, but we are still struggling how to market properly. And there is, I already stated that there is a huge gap in the human resource, where we are trying to address by establishing this institute. Another issue is that we don't have any foreign investment. So for that, there is a kind of bureaucratic process where Bangladesh Tourism Board is trying to, kind of advocate to the central government, to the, higher ups, so that we can open the doors for foreign investments. And last but not least, the data. If you don't have the data, so you can't influence actually the policymakers that how the sector is influencing. So that is another issue, that it is not in our hand, but the National Statistics Office, we have to influence that we should have a regular kind of flow of data where the trends and other things can be monitored. And last but not least, please, thanks a lot for having me. I learned a lot, but I'm not sure whether I have shared any new information to you all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much, Rehnama Salman Khan, madam. And indeed, it is a pleasure listening to you, because you have thoroughly given the inputs regarding the policies and the strategies. In fact, after listening to you, I'm just thinking that if the Tourism Board of Bangladesh, with the help of the other stakeholders, maybe public and private stakeholders, if you will be able to implement all these ideas which you just talked, I'm telling you, you will be going to enjoy the competitive advantage, certainly in the tourism and hospitality industry, because you touched each and every area, whether it is responsible tourism, whether it is rural tourism. You talked about the ecotourism, about the adventure sports, about the gastronomy tourism, and of course about the MICE tourism, which is again very important for us now, because events we cannot ignore in any ways, whether it is exhibition or conference or whatever. But yes, these are certainly some important things. Then talking about the investment, about the foreign investment, this point is absolutely rightly raised by you as well as by Dr. Abdul Hamid, that foreign investments are very much required. And certainly the collaborations with the universities and with the other institutions will definitely boost up the morale of the youngsters of Bangladesh. In fact, I'm working as a head of the department at a government university, and in case if you would like to sign a MOU to run some courses in a joint venture, you're most welcome, madam. It will be an absolute honor for me. So with this note, thank you so very much for your inputs. I'm really mesmerized to hearing your views. It is too good. So I now would like to invite the chairperson, the chairman of this very important and interesting webinar, which I really thoroughly enjoyed a lot and learned a lot from all the speakers about Bangladesh, about the new policies, about the new strategies. I would like to invite Professor Rehman to conclude the webinar, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. It was really a fantabulous discussion. I think from the discussion of all the participants, all the speakers, we will be able to create a new path of rethinking and restarting tourism if private sector and public sector jointly wants to implement all the things. It was nice, informative, suggestive, and realistic discussion. Many audiences have participated from Bangladesh and many parts of the world. But always I saw the highest limit was 100. I think there is a cap.
Let me interrupt you, sir. It is the participants which we are able to see on the screen. It's 100, but right now there are 600 persons who are watching this live.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All the speakers very much rightly mentioned some point. Just a briefly recap all the speakers with some important points. Firstly, Mr. Motiur Rahman. His one point is very important and it is very crucial also. Tourism education level. We have to rethink tourism education level, both in training and academic institutions. So this is very important. We have 23 universities where tourism and hospitality management is being studied, but there are very few trained products we are getting from them. Second, Taleb Rifai. He mentioned many things. He has a lot of experience. We know him. But he mentioned very perfectly that domestic tourism with full of community engagement is very important. Without full of community engagement, we cannot do anything. And of course, Professor Shahnaz Husna Jahan mentioned many of her experiences during her excavation of many archaeological sites in long time. So, full of community engagement, we have to ensure to protect all the tangible and intangible resources of Bangladesh, climate and other archaeological resources, conservation and preservation. Otherwise, all will be ruined. This is very important. This is very crucial warning for us. Professor Hamid mentioned research, marketing, foreign investment, and train the service-oriented people, service-generated people, and local community people. This is very important. And Bangladesh tourism is really far behind of it. Abu Sufyan mentioned the many factors, many issues, and very proactive ways. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of tangible and intangible resources in Bangladesh. But our problem is promotion, preservation and conservation, and managing all the resources. This is our big limitation. That's why we are losing, we are damaging many resources every day. Finally, Geoffrey Lipman. Climate is a very important resource of tourism, and if we cannot handle through tourism, it will be a big danger for us. Climate changes will be a big danger for us. So here, tourism workers, tourism policymakers, tourism related academicians, practitioners, host community people, everybody is equally responsible to preservation and conservation of climate change factors. So all these are very important factors, and all these are applicable to Bangladesh tourism. So we have to rethink on all this point, and we have to start keeping all the points here. I'm very much thankful to Tourism Webinar International for choosing Bangladesh after India, and really special thanks to Dr. Reza Sultani, Dr. Anukrit Sharma. Her presentation and her moderation is truly excellent. My special honor and thanks and gratitude to Dr. Taleb Rifai and Geoffrey Lippman. I'm very much agree with all the points, and finally, I have some observation. I want to tell those observations to you. Number one, now we have a time demand to establish a separate tourism ministry here. The name of our ministry is Ministry of Civil Aviation and Tourism. So this ministry works, 85% works on civil aviation and only 10 to 15% works on tourism. That's why truly we cannot achieve from this ministry. So this is demand of the time. Second, Bangladesh Tourism Board should have to take the pragmatic plan. Master plan is different, but they should have take the pragmatic plan. We have one big lacking. Still, we cannot identify the carrying capacity of the micro destinations. I request here Bangladesh Tourism Board to start the process to identify carrying capacity of every micro destinations. Otherwise, our natural destinations will be damaged. New tourism products should be developed by utilizing our resources, keeping the sustainability in mind. Tourism village should develop along with the community people, because it is now the great demand of UNWTO. Tourism educationists should come forward to prepare appropriate and demand-driven curriculum. Tourist police should introduce security with their enough forces to create the sense of security. Finally, Department of Consumers Right Protection. This is a department in Bangladesh, government department in Bangladesh. They should ensure the consumer's right. Consumers' right, here consumers are tourists. Otherwise, all the prices like hotel fare, hotel cost, transport cost, food, we cannot control the price for the tourist. So this is very bad. So Department of Consumers Right Protection, they should come forward to control it. So this is all about my opinion. Finally, I give thanks all, invite everybody to attach with the tourism, not only in Bangladesh, because tourism is cross-border activity and activities of out of box and life-oriented activities. So tourism in Bangladesh for appropriate and least wealth for Bangladesh, as well as tourism in India, tourism is Sweden, tourism is Germany. Tourism of every countries are very good wealth of those countries. because ultimately tourism will give us the ultimate shelter. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for contributing to the Bangladesh tourism, and all speakers. I'm very much grateful and thankful again to give a lot of time for Bangladesh, for developing Bangladesh tourism. All the speakers, all the listeners and other participants, I personally grateful to all, and on behalf of the people of Bangladesh, Joy Bangla.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Rehman, for concluding the webinar of today. And a very goodbye from my side to everyone. And thanks from the bottom of my heart goes especially to Reza Sultani, who is the man behind the show. You know, he is the person who is a marketing psychologist. He speaks frequently 7 languages, and he has been working in 3 continents and visited more than 100 countries. Reza is a specialist in destination marketing, digital tourism, and branding. He is the founder of Tourism Webinar. He has co-founded the Peace Festivals International, and he is the director of Peace Tours International. Reza is the director of communication and international relations of International Institute for Peace Through Tourism. And why I'm talking about all this for him is actually this is he who is making all of us connected. He's bringing all the dots at one platform. Before this Bangladesh webinar, I have just attended the Indian webinar, and now this is the second opportunity which he has given to me to listening all the eminent speakers. I'm so much thankful to you, Reza. You are doing such a holistic job, and it needs lots of guts to bring everyone on one platform. Hats off to you. Thank you so very much, everyone, especially to Dr.
Thank you
Talib.
so much for your wonderful moderation and all the wonderful speakers and the chairman, Professor Rahman, also all others, of course, Dr. Talib Rafai and Jeffrey Lipman and all the others. Thank you so much. I just want to mention a few technical things that the recording will be available in the coming hours, including the biography of all the speakers, and it will be permanently there. So if many of you are academics, you can use them in your classes, in universities. It will be always there. It's just like a magazine. That's very important and useful, and everybody has its own page, and you can even contact any of the speakers. I don't know if there are some questions or not, or if somebody want to talk, maybe Dr. Rafai or Professor Jeffrey Lipman want to say something, or other speakers.
Just want to thank you so much. Without you, this would have never happened.
Thank you so much. Without you, it wasn't possible to. You are always with us. You are part of our family. So definitely
we'll always
thank
be
you.
Part of you and part of Bangladesh.
Thank you. Anybody else want to say something? Professor Jahan?
May I say something?
Thank you.
Sure.
May I say something, Mr. Reza Sultani?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, what I want to mention regarding that, every country in the post-COVID period, the tourism has changed everything. Post-COVID period tourism and pre-COVID period tourism is very much different. So definition also changed. What is tourism? What is tourism? And so each and every country like Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Indonesia, Japan, Australia, Italy, so many countries, they have changed their master plan, and they are going to plan for the post-COVID tourism plan. Every country is doing like that. But in Bangladesh, still there is no initiative from the tourism board. We have done one thing from others part and others institution, but Bangladesh Tourism Board yet didn't anything else of post-COVID period tourism, because post-COVID tourism is the key tool for achieving the SDGs for Bangladesh. But there is no preparation, as so far my knowledge, hopefully Mukhlesh by knowledge as well. There is no preparation know nothing else about this, the post-COVID tourism preparation plan or roadway, nothing else. I want to hear from the director of PTB, Ms. Rehnuma Salam Khan. It would be great. I will be grateful if I can hear something about.
Thank you for the question. I'll be very brief in answering. Actually, you know, the master plan has not yet approved and it is still in the drafting phase. So very recently we had a stakeholder consultations where these issues about, you know, the COVID and impact of COVID has, you know, been raised by so many stakeholders. So that is also very much within our, you know, I would say, you know, in our mind too, because after this master plan, there will be separate action plan, the sectoral action plan, where these, because we already did an impact study on the COVID and the tourism sector, where also, and the study was done by BIDS, the one of the well-known think tanks in Bangladesh, where the BIDS is also has also recommended some strategy which will be incorporated in the master plan. So this is still in the process because master plan has not yet approved. It is still in the drafting phase. Thank you.
Thank you. Here I want to add one thing more, because the one master plan for Bangladesh has already been done in 1988. It was done by UNWTO, Bangladesh Porjodan Corporation with the fund of DFID. And we don't know, I don't know why this is totally ignored. We don't know. Already the master plan has done in 1988, but don't know why this is newly and what is the features. I have participated in several meetings in FBCCI regarding the master plan, but we didn't get enough information, enough plan, what they are doing, how they are doing, what is their policies. The people from the master plan people, the IP Global, they were present there, but they couldn't able to present any information properly. So I think this is very important to plan properly with the proper people. Thank you.
Professor Rahman, do you want to add something, or are there any questions from the audience?
Everything is okay because they have so many bitter experience. As Abu Sufyan said, first master plan was done theoretically, but I failed to see the master plan. So implementation is far behind. So that's why it is our big expectation to prepare a new pragmatic master plan for our tourism industry. Because in 88 or before 88, sense of tourism had very little, but now many people are concerned about it because tourism is now in Bangladesh not only an economic sector. It is investment sector, social development factors, and so many activities we can do with tourism. So tourism is now a very big concern to everybody. Not only that, you will be amazed that it is a disorganized sector or non-organized sector, but still 40 lakh, I repeat it, 40 lakh formal and informal laborers work here. So sector is very big, and 3% of our economy encompasses tourism. So this is the time to rethink everything on tourism. Thank you very much.
Especially after COVID.
I beg your pardon. May I have a few words?
Sure, please.
Possibility?
Sure.
Was it possible?
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, let me say that I'm a Bangladeshi Balabashi. I'm falling in love with Bangladesh. I have been a lot of times in your nice country. Now I feel myself like a Bangladeshi. And thank you very much for Mr. Abu Sufyan that he gave me this kind of possibility to enter this kind of wonderful meeting. I think it's very hopeful meeting. I wish it will improve development of tourism, because everywhere I'm promoting the tourism possibilities of lovely Bangladesh. But by the way, I would like to add some very small steps. For example, in stations except Dhaka, there must be written in English letters also. I don't know the name of the stations as a tourist, you know. If someone not with me, I cannot understand where I am, where should I go. This is very important thing. Secondly, I offer that in big hotels, touristic hotels, should be booklets, very small booklets, written some Bangla sentences that tourists can interested with the Bangla language, and then they can try to explain what they want. Other things, all of them has been spoken. It was very fruitful meeting. Thank you very much. I wish this kind of meetings every time to be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dhonyabat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Also, I want just to mention that we hope as the neighboring country, Myanmar, get a better situation as they have been through difficulties. Hopefully the peace and the stability will turn to Myanmar. I know Bangladesh have been in somehow affected by the situation there. So hopefully everything will be soon better.
So,
anybody else want to say something before we close? Nobody? Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, and God bless the people of Bangladesh, and everything hopefully will be much better. And thank you so much for all the speakers. Thank you.
Namaskar. Dhanyavad to all, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Huda Hafiz. Huda Hafiz. Huda Hafiz.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
Mr.
Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you so much. It's quite late in Bangladesh. I think now is almost 11 p.m. So.
Oh, is it?
10 in
10, it's 9:30 in India.
9:30 is in, yes.
Good night, everyone. Okay, thanks for having me. Thank you so much. Be in touch, be in contact, everyone. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
good night.
Keep smiling. Allah Hafiz. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.